Africa is urbanizing at a speed that's reshaping the entire continent. This shift isn't happening in just a few megacities. It's unfolding across hundreds of small and mid-sized towns, rapidly turning them into economic hubs. Back in 1950, Africa was overwhelmingly rural. The vast majority of people lived in villages, farming their land and living off the local economy. Fast forward to 2015, and nearly half of all Africans were city dwellers. And this isn't slowing down. By 2050, more than 70% of Africa's population is expected to live in urban areas. But here's what's different. While other regions of the world saw their biggest cities dominate urban growth, Africa's urbanization is more spread out. Instead of just swelling in metropolises like Lagos or Nairobi, much of the population boom is happening in secondary cities and smaller towns. These places may not make headlines, but they play a crucial role in transforming Africa's economy. And that transformation is real. Wages in cities, on average twice as high as in rural areas. The closer you are to a city, the better your access to jobs, financial services, and infrastructure. Even people in rural areas are benefiting, with cheaper transport options, think motorcycles imported from China and India, making it easier to commute to town and back. The line between rural and urban life? It's blurring more and more. But here's the catch. Africa's urbanization hasn't been smooth. Instead of driving the kind of industrial boom seen in places like China or Southeast Asia, Africa's cities have expanded inefficiently, trapping millions in poverty rather than lifting them out of it. Take housing. Nearly half of sub-Saharan Africa's urban population lives in slums, with little access to basic services. Cities aren't growing upward with efficient high-density development. They're sprawling outward, making it expensive and difficult to provide infrastructure like roads, water, and electricity. And this isn't just about living conditions. High costs of living in African cities have kept industrial growth stagnant. Even as cities grow, manufacturing's share of GDP hasn't budged. Young people move to cities expecting better jobs, but in many cases, those jobs just don't exist. Instead, they end up in informal work, hustling to make ends meet in markets, transport services, or gig jobs. And making matters worse, poor urban planning, outdated zoning laws, and weak property rights, all of which make it harder to build thriving, organized cities. Recognizing these challenges, some African governments are stepping up with reforms to make urban growth work for them. The strategy? Strengthening secondary cities, updating policies, and improving land ownership rules to encourage better planning. Rwanda, Ghana, and Senegal are leading the way with policies that invest in smaller urban centers, making sure growth isn't just concentrated in one or two big cities. Somaliland's capital, Hargeisa, has built a strong property tax system, using it to fund urban development. Togo has redrawn city boundaries to match actual urban expansion, rather than sticking to outdated maps that no longer reflect reality. This is a crucial moment for Africa's cities. Urbanization is inevitable, but whether it becomes an engine for prosperity or a driver of inequality depends on the choices made now. Smart, sustainable urban planning could turn African cities into powerhouses of economic growth and innovation. The challenge? Making sure that happens before the problems become too big to fix.